And today I have the absolute privilege to be in conversation with Gabriel Kaam. Now, Gabriel, based out of Paris and done business all over the place. So what I really want to get into his expertise now. And he's helped launch businesses in the fashion industry. And he's an entrepreneur in that arena as well. Welcome to the Business and Wealth Show, Gabriel.
Hello, Mac. Thank you for having me.
You know, in the UK, we say Gabriel. Now, I know
Gabriel.
you speak French. Is it
Yeah.
Gabriel or Gabriel?
I don't mind. I think in French people say Gabriel, but
Gabriel?
yeah, my sister calls me Gabi as well. Whatever works. I'm fine with both.
As an Arsenal fan of football, we have lots of Gabbies and lots of
Gabi,
Gabriels
all right.
on the team. So Gabrielle is fine with me. All
Okay.
right. So now, for those who I want to, in a moment, I want to talk about your entrepreneurial background. Have you always been an entrepreneur? How did you become an entrepreneur? But before we do that, I want to let listeners know that since 2016, you've been working with some of the biggest fashion and beauty, as well as the luxury brands, including LVMH, the Louis Vuitton brand, L'Oreal, Givenchy, if I said that right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I want to have that conversation that you're noted in that your agency has worked with them, helped them in that regard. But how did you start as an entrepreneur? What happened?
Yeah, I think like I studied like entrepreneurship kind of like by chance. It wasn't really meant to be. I started off as a real geek. I was like a technical nerd. I was for 2 to 3 years. I was like a full stack developer, working with companies. I was like an IT consultant. So I was really into the tech world. And then by chance, I think I started to work with this brand called The Couples. That was like kind of like the new hot brands on the French and Parisian market. And I think that was the first time that I could see how my computing and really technical work could
Right.
affect a totally different industry, which is fashion. And I just love how I was able to give so much value for the e-commerce team over there. And that's how I started to work in e-commerce. And then I did a bit of freelancing, and then freelancing turned into starting my own agency, and then agency turned into like the business. And so it kind of like happened organically. I feel like I was freelancer and business entrepreneur before I even knew what that meant. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. And how has the journey been for you? What's been the toughest journey for you so far as an entrepreneur? Because what I say to people is that, and we got listeners here, everybody goes through ups and downs, and there's never a straight route to getting the success or the result you want.
Yeah.
And it's always a journey. There are always challenges and obstacles. The people who are resilient, who pick themselves up and go. So what's been one of the hardest, biggest challenges for you as an entrepreneur? And I think you've been an entrepreneur for what, 8 years, 10 years, something like
Yeah,
this?
we started the company 8 years ago, 2016, and I would say like 10 years. I was like an entrepreneur for 10 years before. Yeah,
Right, right, right.
overall. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, just what you said, I think resilience, I think, is one of the main, not like skills, I guess, or ability that you can have as an entrepreneur, especially in the beginning. I feel like it gets, easier as you go, as you get some years under your belt. But when you're starting, and especially if you don't have like a clear path to start, you're gonna
Yeah.
fail a lot. It's gonna feel like like walking through the desert with naked feet, So if you don't have this ability to keep going, to keep working, even though if you don't see clear success day to day, if you don't have this, whatever it is, drive, motivation, discipline to keep moving forward, it's going to be very hard. But if you just have that, if you just, keep your head on and keep going,
Mm.
um, it's going to be, at some point, you're going to find success if you do it like in the right way.
Thank you. What led you to working with some of the world's leading luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Givenchy, L'Oreal, and
Yeah.
these brands? What paved the way to get into working with these type of companies?
Yeah. So I think there's like, if I try to lay down, it's a couple of things. It's a lot of components, right? It's just not there's not one silver bullet that I can give to someone who wants to be like in my position. But I feel like for me it was a combination of many things. The first one is I started off in the environment that I was really good at, which is like technical background and development. And because I was good at my job, I was able to give a lot of value to people. I was able to be like a good element to the team and a good addition to their business. So they wanted to keep working with me. And then something that I did by chance actually is really found out my niche really, really early. So my niche for me was fashion and e-commerce. And
Right.
because in Paris, of course, Paris being the capital of the world, I
Yeah.
think it's a great city to
For
study like
fashion, yeah,
fashion.
definitely.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So it was again my chance, but being focused on fashion and being in this niche and being kind of like the only maybe like really technical and marketing guy, I was able to stand out.
Okay.
And the fashion world in Paris is kind of small. We think it's like big, 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 but people know everybody. So if you keep working, if you do like a good job, people are going to want to work with you, on the long term, and also going to reference you. So you get a lot of referrals,
Right.
and there's a lot of turnovers in these companies. People will start with work for LVMH for like 2-3 years, and then move to L'Oreal. And if they
Okay.
if they remember you, they're probably going to come, call you over. I got so many bigger clients like this just because I was
Mm.
working with somebody, they changed job, and then they call me back. It's like, Gabriel, I have the exact same problem at this new company that I had before. And then that's good. And then I get a new client just for that. So, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like being good at what you do, being in a niche, and keep working and keep building connection. And at some point, yeah, the market is going to reward your work. Yeah.
I love that because what you're saying is that clearly you've got a skill set and your company have been doing a good job because if you weren't doing a good job, there's no way somebody's going to call you back,
Yeah.
right? Especially if they've left the organization, gone to a different organization, they're
They're not
calling
going to
you
bring
to
you.
come and
Yeah.
help them resolve that same type of issue.
Hmm.
So, and at the beginning of the call, we talked about resilience and keep going. So do a good job, keep serving, keep helping them. And okay, I love that. I love that. So for someone who wants to, so I want to get a picture of what type of work you do for these brands. Why do they need you? What's the service that you're really providing to them?
Yeah. So at the beginning, when we started, I was just trying to do my work. And I think at the beginning, it was a lot of development. So so I was working for this brand on the e-commerce side, and they'll be running software like Magento or Salesforce, right? These are software that used to be very hard to manage for like a non-technical person. So
Mm,
me, having like a technical background, I can basically help them navigate through this software and
okay.
use them for the better of their business. So there was a
Mm,
lot of consulting, a lot of software development, which is like my skill. This is my area of expertise, I would say. So
right.
I was able to strive into that, but I was also very curious and very passionate. So my knowledge was not limited to my area of expertise. For example, I will do development, but I will also know a lot about email marketing just because I was curious about it. And
Okay.
then I was just having lunch with the client, and they were like, "Oh, we're having this issue with the email. Like some of email are getting into spams." And I'm like, "Oh, have you maybe checked your DNS? Do you know if the SPF is configured?" Like, and then she was like, "Well, how do you know about this?" I'm like, "Well, I also know email marketing." So then she was like, "Okay, come and help us."
That's fun.
So yeah, so we basically started off as development, really like website development, web design, and website creation. And
Okay.
then we moved to a lot of email marketing for this big platform like Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and Klaviyo. And then as the company grew, we start to get better, start to understand more what the market wants. And
Right.
usually once a brand has a website, is designed, the email are flowing in, they want to grow, right? So then we started to learn about email marketing, digital marketing, social media ads, SEO. And that's where I started to hire people because you can only learn so much. So I started to hire people who had this expertise that I needed so that I can serve my clients. But because I already had a foot in the door before, because the clients already trusted me and my knowledge, I
Mm,
was able to them provide them with multiple services. Yeah.
got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Let me ask you a question that is not only fashion related, but
Yeah.
maybe outside of that industry. If someone has a product or something or a service that they want to launch, from your background and your experience, what is the best way to launch that or an idea is to launch that so that it has a margin of success,
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
just failing? What would you say?
Yeah. Well, I would say that it actually starts before the launch. I
Mm,
feel like if you are in a point that you want to launch something, and if you're trying to figure out if the market's gonna respond well to it, I think you're a little bit late. You should have done that in the beginning. When I
mm,
want to launch a new product or service, even before I even start building it, I try to make sure that there's a market for it. So basically, my advice would be to sell your service even after you start to really sell it, after before you start to launch it, right? So you sell it before you launch it. You contact people, you try to be like, hey, like, do you need help with that? They're like,
mm.
yes, we actually have a lot of pain on that. All right. What if I had a solution that allow you to do that for this amount of money? And they're like,
Okay.
that would be great, right? There you go. You have a client that can be like, well, I'm building that, and if it's good, if I can have this, you know, working with you will be like a customer of mine. They're like, yeah, for sure. And so you do that with a few people. And if you realize that a lot of people in your market have the same need and that your solution can be like a good fit for their needs, like a good solution for their problem, then you have a problem. Then you have a product. And you don't really need to launch because you already have the clients that you already identified. So that would be like the good strategy for me to launch a product by minimizing the risk of failure, is making sure that you find a client first.
So for people listening in now, what's the best way for them to find out? Because I love the idea, and I've done this myself in as a business and wealth coach. I've done that with various programs that we sell around the world.
Yeah.
I love the whole concept. For someone who's starting new and they're not in the industry for that long, whichever industry it is, and we're saying, okay, sell the thing before you launch the thing.
Yeah.
So that says to me, okay, we've got to do some market research. We've got to find out the niche, what
Mhm.
the niche is, what the problem is, and then would it the natural step be send a survey or questionnaire, or what are some tips or ideas that they can get that information that, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. It's
Yeah.
going to solve this problem. Is that something you'd be interested in? What's the
Yeah.
best way to get that?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I hate forms. I don't think forms. I mean, I know some people disagree with me, but I
Yeah,
don't think forms are like a good way to do market research.
right.
For different reasons. I think the main reason for me is that when people fill a form, they're thinking with their brain, but when they buy a product, they do it with their guts. So
Right.
by sending a form, you're asking the wrong person. You're asking the brain, not the guts. So that would be the main reason why I don't like it.
Mm.
And I think like a better way to test a product is to fake launch it. So if you look at the startup world, I think Dropbox was the one who did that. So Dropbox, you probably know,
Mm.
like the cloud file
Yeah.
sharing services.
Dropbox. Yeah.
So when they wanted to launch it, they didn't build anything, right? But what they did is they built a web page. They built a web page, like the homepage. They're like, hey, we are Dropbox. We are starting this. It's going to allow you to do that and that and that. If you are interested,
Uh-huh.
sign up to be like on the beta release, right?
Right.
So really small page. You can even do like a type form or whatever, like really capture page. You run that onto that, right? Like you put like 20, 20, $30 a day on this page, see if people click on it, are interested, and you're basically gonna build like an email list of client that you can then sell it to. So it's kind of like a fake launch. You're faking your launch, you announce the product
Yeah.
as it like it's coming soon, and this is what we're gonna do, this is what the problem we're gonna solve. And if people are interested, you're gonna sign up. But if they don't, you know you don't have a good product, but you
Idea.
only wasted like a few dollars on ads. You didn't spend like months and months trying to build something that nobody wants. So
Yeah.
that's what I will do. I will try to, make sure that you only launch when you know you have customers, and maybe even paying customers. We had that. We had a client for us actually that paid us even before we started to build everything, just because we knew what they wanted. So we used the money to build the software and then to do the marketing after that. But that's another story. Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that because you're saying from um, we have these tools available to us.
Yeah.
Create a small landing page, a short landing page, tell them this is happening, just like Dropbox did. And then the exciting thing is if you are bombarded with people saying, yes, I want this, I want, it's
Yeah.
exciting, right?
You have a winner, right? It's probably gonna motivate you even more to start working on it.
Exactly.
You know, because
Exactly.
if you don't have a client, you're working on it, but if it's your side business, if you have like a job, it's gonna be hard. But if you know you have 20 clients waiting for you to give you money,
Yeah.
it's gonna motivate you even more. And
Yeah.
also you can also prioritize the what you need to build first to better serve them, because you'll be like, hey, listen, I have 3 features that I wanted to integrate in my software. Which one will be the best or the biggest win for you guys, right? And then you can send them like a small survey, and
Mm.
then you know how to organize your time to make sure that you focus your energy on the points that's going to be the most valuable for your future customer.
Wow. Wow. That's fantastic. Look, since we're talking about this, what are some of the biggest mistakes people or entrepreneurs make when they are launching something new? It doesn't matter what it is. It could
Yeah,
be, it doesn't matter. A launch is a launch.
yeah,
When
it could be like a course,
of
like
course, exactly. Like, sometimes we see there's a new movie coming out, right?
mhm.
And then you see the advert on the bus, on the billboards. We know it's coming. It's building up. It's building up until, hey, it's on this date, and everyone's going on a Friday night
Yeah.
or a Saturday to go and watch this thing. What are some of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make by not knowing the best ways to launch?
Yeah. I mean, the mistakes I've seen, um, it could be like losing time by building a software or building like a solution without making sure that that's what your customer wants.
Mm,
Because sometimes we get an idea of, oh my god, I'm sure they're going to need that features in my program or in my course or in my thing, but that's you thinking that, right?
right.
You should always try to challenge these ideas. It could come from even the idea of the business you want to launch, or what you want to be included in it, or what kind of features you want to provide. um, you should never trust yourself in this kind of thing. That's my advice. Don't trust yourself. Trust
Right.
your market. Trust the
Try to
customer.
trust the market.
Yeah,
Right.
because the market is always right, because at the end of the day, they are the one paying for it, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you want to include in that; it's what they want. For me, as a service provider, uh, my goal is not to invent the best program ever. Is to just listen to the customer, listen to the market, and see how I can address their pain and give them solution that they want. So yeah, I think one mistake that people do is that they have this idea for this great product, and then first of all, they don't challenge it, right? That's one
Mm,
mistake that they do. And then the second one is that they spend so much time building it without confronting it to customers to get like a really market response. So they may spend like 3 months, 4 months, maybe filming videos, writing ebooks without making sure that that's what the customer are looking for.
right.
So that would be like a mistake that I've seen other people doing. Um, yeah, I guess that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, it's very good because we're on the same page here. Because what I say to a lot of our clients is focus on understanding what the client's problems are.
Yeah.
If you can understand what the client's problems are, then create the solution for that.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas, you'd have seen it yourself. A lot of people, what happens is they come up with an idea, like you said, and then they say, "Oh, this is going to be an amazing thing," and then they try to market and sell it, and it's not going,
yeah,
and nothing's happening.
yeah,
Well, that's because it's in your head. The marketplace doesn't say they want it. They don't have a problem with this thing, and
yeah.
plus the way they marketing it is often using the wrong language.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that because you are there helping promote some luxury brands around the world. Amazing. And one of the things I often say is that you can tell people the facts, the facts, the facts. That's one thing. And like you said, that's very much thinking with their head.
Hmm.
Or you can appeal to their emotion.
Yeah.
And one of the things you talk about is storytelling.
Hmm.
How can you use storytelling to um, sell products, sell services?
I mean, I think what you said earlier is really interesting about the language that you use when you're selling a product.
Hmm.
I feel like if you're trying to sell a product and if you're using like your language, it might not resonate with your audience. that's why it's important to ask questions first, getting to know your customer,
Right.
to know what is their pain and how do they express it, so that you can reuse the same language so they feel heard. And this
Mm.
feeling heard. You want people to see your product and be like, yes, yes, this is exactly how I feel. Yes, you understand me. And that's kind of the same thing for like fashion and luxury. It's all about understanding the psychology of the customer and understanding like the state of mind, and you know talking to them in a way that feel that you feel like you're talking the same language as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's all about the emotion. If you're talking to someone and if you're talking to them with the same language, with the same from the same angle that they are used to use in their day-to-day life, you're
Mm.
more likely to generate a positive or negative reaction for them, right? But
Right.
like, if you're talking to someone who's working in a factory and you come and you're having like a really like lawyery language, they're gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, sorry, I don't know if I can swear or not, but it's like
Yeah.
you need to have a
Makes sense
human
to them.
connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't resonate with them. They
Yeah, it
don't
doesn't
get
resonate.
it. Yeah.
Exactly, and
It's
that's the
similar to,
same with marketing. Yeah,
yeah, I suppose it's similar to some clients we have ours who are involved in IT and in IT computing, and they're trying to sell it, and but they're selling it to the creative industry.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I'm saying, is this your marketing? They don't understand this jargon. It doesn't make any sense to them. You've
yeah.
got this, yeah. So we're on the same page here.
I mean,
Fantastic.
I did this mistake.
Oh,
Like,
you did?
well, oh yeah, of course. I'm a developer. I
Of course.
used to build website since I was 9. So I'm like a geek. My business partner is a creative. His family is like from artists. His dad
Oh,
was a painter. So
okay.
when we started to reach out to business people, we didn't speak the same language at all. I mean, that's why I'm saying I'm lucky to be here, because there was a lot of struggling at the beginning. I remember maybe for 1 year we
Hmm.
kept sending we keep sending like proposal to RFPs, and we never get picked up. And we're like, I don't understand like why we're not getting picked up for all this project,
Uh-huh.
because we're talking like way too technical,
Yeah.
not thinking about the benefits. Like, okay, we are trying to sell an e-commerce website, and they say it's gonna be fast, it's gonna be HTTPS version 2, PHP 7.5, and they're like, I just want to sell shoes online, man.
That's it.
And we didn't understand that. We're like, yes, but you don't understand. With this new protocol, it's going to be parallel thinking with the processor. And they're like, I don't understand. And they're going to go with the agency that can be like, oh, you want to put your image on the product page? Yes, yes, we can do that. I'm like, yeah, I can do that too. Oh, yeah, but he said it. You just talked about PHP and JavaScript. I don't know what this means.
Exactly.
So, it's all about creating this connection and how do you talk to your customer, but first you need to
Yeah.
understand the language that they're speaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I love that. So what about storytelling? Because appealing to their emotion, sometimes I see some of these brands, I'm thinking, how they selling so much quantity of this?
Yeah,
And there's a story behind it that gets people seduced
yeah,
to just go and buy it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Rather than where a lot of people make mistakes is giving them the facts, giving them the facts, giving them the features, giving them the features. So anything you want to say about that storytelling and emotions?
yeah. I mean, I think that's especially strong and important, like in direct to consumer, like fashion, beauty,
Mm,
and luxury. People don't buy a product for the product that is, right. They buy the story behind the brand, and I do believe that they also buy the person that they become with the product.
right.
This is why Chanel is about to sell like 5, 10,000 bags. It's just a bag, right? But if you buy it, then you get accepted into this circle of people who own a Chanel bag. And whatever status, whatever value the brand has, and the brand has attached to itself, then by owning this bag, you can benefit from this. Like Chanel is like, it's classy, it's French, is really luxurious. So if you do buy a Chanel bag, you signal to the world that, look at me, I am also classy, I'm have good
Right,
state, I'm a classy
right,
person. So, and that's the reason why people buy this product, not because it's a bag. The bag itself, you don't care about the dimension of the bag, you don't care about the I mean, you want to be nicely done, of course, as a nice product, but it's more about what does the product represent to you, And
Mm,
also, what do you know the product represent to other people? Because it's also like a lot of social, social interaction going on. Sometimes we buy a product, especially for item that you can wear on yourself. It's to
mm,
display. So it's also like how people are gonna feel when they see me wearing this brand or this other brand, and that's why this product sells so high, because people want to have this feeling of I'm wearing this brand, I'm feeling like this. And that's why this brand are so strong, because it's not about the product. The
right.
whatever cost to manufacture the product doesn't matter. It's all about the experience. It's about what you become once you have this product in your possession.
It's really well explained. I'm going to turn it on its head a little bit because we've been speaking the same language all the time. And I want some people listening in to really understand what's going
Yeah,
on here. We said earlier on, make sure you understand their pain, their problem, and then satisfy that pain or problem, give them what they need, or give them what they want. So when someone buys a luxury, so people listening in go, okay, but I'm an expert, I'm a consultant, I'm a coach, I'm this, and I'm not selling luxury brands. But listen carefully. When someone when someone's selling a luxury brand, high-end item, what is the problem that they are solving for the buyer?
yeah.
So we talk about the Chanel bag or a Louis Vuitton bag or the whatever it is, but what is the problem that they are really that what's the problem that they have? And I think you already started to touch on it in terms of
Mhm.
what you said just now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can call it a problem. I don't want to be too harsh on people buying this kind of item, because there's many reasons why you want to buy a
Buy
Chanel
back.
bag.
Yeah.
But I do believe that we are social beings.
Mm.
We interact with other people, and we care about what other people think about us. And
Yeah.
I think um, that plays like a big place in why we buy this luxury item.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's a love for the heritage of the brand. You can really appreciate it,
Mm.
um, and that you want to become part of it, for that reason. There's also like the love for the craftsmanship, of course, because these
Right.
products are really higher craft.
Yeah.
But there's many reasons. It's really hard to pinpoint
So
exactly why these
because
people.
when you said that about so the problem is that so if I'm buying this thing, one of the problems could be, like you said, some of these other bags that I'm buying don't have the same kind of stitching, the same
Yeah.
craft work. They don't have the same kind of finish. They don't
Hmm.
have the same kind of heritage. So I'm buying it for the quality because I can't get a quality elsewhere.
Hmm.
But one of the things I discovered some time ago, I'm thinking, why is this person buying a Lamborghini? Why is this person buying a Ferrari? Why is this person buying this? And I started to think some of them, apart from the mechanics and the look and the quality, also for some people, it's my problem is I want to be approved by other people.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's the need for approval.
Yeah.
And please like me, please love me.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes that's what goes on.
Yeah.
That I want to be accepted by this group of people for them to know that we are the same. So now we can walk in the same circles.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just fascinating.
No, it's true. Yeah, yeah.
It's fascinating. Tell me something. In your experience, what can people do to build a loyal following to your brand or to the product that you have? Because we know that loyalty then brings retainership. So they retaining with you, they staying with you, and with that, it lowers the cost of marketing to find new
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So any ideas to get your clients to stay loyal?
Yeah. There's probably like a few. Yeah. For one, the first one is of course you want to be in a niche. I think it's really hard to build like a loyalty if your brand is bland. If your brand doesn't have like a really strong identity, I think it's
Okay.
going to be hard to rally people around that. So the more niche you are, the better it is. Like we
Mhm.
have this new brand that we were working with. We just had like a launch, like a really great launch last week actually, and she's built this really great community of women, around like feminism, about like rock metal, and really like like pin up and stuff. So really like a strong, visual identity.
Right.
And you can see that when she launched a product, the whole community is behind her because they associate themselves so much with the brand, right? So
Mm.
having like a strong and brand identity is really important when it comes to visual, and also like what does your brand stands for. Uh, be be loyal to the brand as well. I think we've seen that actually like last year with was it Porsche who did like a really weird ads when they went like Gen Z and
Okay.
stuff. I think, and people were like, "What? That's not what the Porsche that I know." It's like, oh no, that was Jaguar. I think that was Jaguar, right? They
Okay.
came up with these really colorful
Okay.
ads, which really like it's kind of like a big shift for what we used to know the brand, and
Yeah,
people
because
are like,
for
well,
old people, right? Jaguar was
yeah,
for older people, and
exactly,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like they love the heritage. Like when they buy a
Oh,
Jaguar, they're like, oh, I remember like my dad used to walk to me with the dealership. He used to watch the Jaguar. I always wanted one, so now I can finally afford it. That's
right.
the reason why they buy a Jaguar. But that's only makes sense if the history of the Jaguar stays the same. If you change
Mm,
the history, you might as well rename the brand. So I mean, I don't know what they were going with this thing, but I do believe that when you have a brand and you're starting to be like an audience, a loyal audience, you kind of have to, like stay committed to it. Because if you deviate from it, well, people might not agree with it and be like, "Oh, I guess you're changed, and that doesn't sit well with me," so I'm gonna change that. So that would be like on the brand level. But
mm,
then, if we're talking like concrete day to day, I would say try to. I mean, it's easy to say. Try to engage with your customer. That's easy to say. But
mm,
one way that I like to do it, for example, and I talk a lot about it, it's email marketing. I think email marketing is like one of the channels that brands seems to forget or
mm.
not misuse, but underestimate. I guess that's the right word.
Right, right.
Because email marketing is virtually free, right? You don't pay to send like an email,
Yeah,
but it's a great chance to create a one-to-one conversation with your customers by using like personalized
yeah.
email that can read like an email was sent to them specifically and not just like a general communication. So
Right.
it's all about taking all of these little points of interaction with your customer base. It could be email, it could be WhatsApp, it could be social media, and really try to talk to them, try to engage with them.
Mm,
Because if they feel like they're part of it, they want to engage. I feel like customers know that they want to be, they want to be active. They don't want to be just spectators and just looking at the brand from afar. They want to be inside of it. So
yeah.
if they can engage with you like on social media, get a reaction, you're gonna make their day. So I do believe that for brands who wants to create this connection with their customer base, it's really good to have this interaction. That may not apply for luxury brand because they're selling something different. They're selling like exclusivity, so they might not want to have this proximity. But that's another strategy as well. Yeah.
Listen, I love what you're saying, Gabriel. When you do you manage these campaigns for these luxury brands, what are some key measurements that you are looking for as to see whether this campaign's working or not working, so that you know what to tweak or change to get a better outcome?
Yeah. Well, recently we've been doing like a lot of email marketing, of course, and there's a few KPI that some people know. The open rate, the click-through
Yeah.
rate, of course, the conversion, and people they seem to look at this number, these KPIs, and they don't really know what to do with it, right? They don't really know. It's like, oh, my opening rate is lower. Like, what does it mean? Well, the opening rate is low because people are not opening your email. Why is that? Maybe you're listening at the wrong day, maybe the wrong time, and
Mm,
maybe you're just using really, really bad subject line. You
right.
know, that would be like the key component to change. And what we do when we notice a certain drop in these KPIs is, well, A/B testing. So we will maybe split the customers in two parts, and we'll send both parts a different version. Maybe
Yeah.
this one we use their first name in the subject line, this one would not. We will run this campaign, and then we will compare the opening rate on both, And maybe on this one we have like 35% open rate, this one 25. It's like, well, using the first name is in the subject line is a good way to make people open up more the email. And that's true because they feel like it was sent to them, Like if I send you a text like, hey Mike, look what I found for you. You're more likely to open this message that if you were saying, our favorite pick for this week, if you're like, oh, all right, I guess they just, send that to, but this one was sent to you directly.
Direct.
So, we try to always have like a data-driven approach when we run this campaign when it comes to email marketing, social media, and e-commerce. So it's all about measuring the data, analyzing the KPI, and then making decision to improve them for the next one. It's all about iteration.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Fantastic. Look, it's been a great conversation here. For anyone who wants to learn more from you or connect with you or see how that you can do something together, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, I feel like the best way is LinkedIn. I'm trying to be
Link-
more active on LinkedIn these days, trying to share. I try to share like a lot of values on LinkedIn and YouTube. So LinkedIn is Gabriel Kaam, Kaam. I'm easy to find.
Yeah, we'll add it to the footnotes of the show here. So
Yeah.
LinkedIn, okay, good, that's fine. We'll add it to here. So yeah, I think check you out. One of the reasons why we want to speak to you because you are out there doing something different to other people and you are smashing it and doing these launches and helping these luxury brands. So it's fantastic. Well done, well done.
Yeah.
Especially you're based in Paris, France. You have an international team,
Yeah.
and your English is amazing as well. So it's
Thank
perfect.
you.
So
Thank you
I'll
for that.
say thank you
Yeah.
so much. Any last words before we finish?
No, man, that was really great. Thank you for having me again. And yeah, that was a good show. Thank you for that.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome. Hey, listen, I want to say if you are not following us, follow us, depending on what platform you are on. Subscribe, depending on which platform you're on. Also, give us some emojis, give us some comments. What did you get from the discussion with Gabrielle here and myself, Mac? And what did you get out of it? Remember to share as well. The algorithm likes engagement. So help us out and so we can reach more people. All right, take care until we speak again. Bye for now. Take care.